Students, now we continue with GP, that is geometric progression, and in GP now we are seeing the next sum, that is the 12th sum, sum number 12. In this 12th sum you have three terms in GP and the product is given. Since the product of three terms in GP is given, now unlike the previous sum where the product was not given, so in this case we will take the GP as A by R, A and ER. So you have A by R, A and ER, that multiplication will give you 1, or A cube is equal to 1. So from that you are getting A is equal to 1. So because the product of three terms in GP was given, so we were able to find this, that the product of the three terms is A by R, A and ER, and that is equal to 1, so we could find A. So whenever product is given, take it as per the formula given, that is if three terms are there, you will take A by R, A and ER. And also you are given sum of the three terms in GP is 49 by 5, means these three terms added gives you 49 by 15. So now substitute A is 1, so this becomes 1 by R plus 1 plus R is 49 by 15. Since there is an R here, I multiply the equation throughout by R so that I get rid of the R in the denominator. So it becomes 1 plus R squared plus 49R. This step is also as good as taking the LCM. Then I cross multiply and I simplify. So when I simplify, I get the equation as 15R squared minus 34R plus 15 equal to 0. So 15R squared, that 34R we split and write it as 25 and minus 25 and minus 9. On adding it gives you minus 34R, and on multiplication this both will give you 15 into 15, that is 225 R squared. So we have factorized by splitting the middle term minus 34R. So 5R is 3R minus 5 minus 3R minus 5, that is equal to 0. So 3R minus 5 and 5R minus 3 is 0. So R is 5 by 3 or R is 3 by 5. So R is either 5 by 3 and R is 3 by 5 and A was 1. So case 1, we have to consider A as 1 and R as 5 by 3. Therefore the three numbers A by R, A and ER which we had taken. So 1 by 5 by 3, 1 and 1 into 5 by 3, that becomes 3 by 5, 1 and 5 by 3. So case 2 will be A is 1 only, but R is 3 by 5. So when you substitute in this case, you get the reverse of this, that is 5 by 3, 1 and 3 by 5. But don't directly write the reverse, you have to show this step. So show the step and write the two possible GPs. Are they the same GP? No. Because in this case, R is different and in this case, R is different. They are not the same GP, they are reverse GPs. So both the answers should be written and the value of R, the values of R should be highlighted. So please copy this, we continue. Now you are given two extreme numbers of the GP, 4, 3, 7, 4 and 6. And they have asked you to add 5 numbers in between those two terms, such that everything is in GP. So now you know that the first term is 4374. So A is equal to 4374, and then A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 are those 5 terms which you have to add between 4374 and 6. So 6 is now the 7th term. So you know the 7th term. Now in GP you have the formula An is A R raised to n minus 1. So the 7th term, that is 6, is 4374 into R raised to 6. So if you get 4374 below 6 down here and do the division, it becomes 1 upon 729. 1 upon 729 is actually 1 upon 3 raised to 6. So you have r raised to 6 is 1 by 3 raised to 6. 9 into 9 into 9 is 729. So 3 raised to 6 will be 729. So this is 1 by 3 raised to 6. Indices are equal, so bases have to be equal. So r is equal to 1 by 3. So you have got r is 1 by 3. Now a2 is equal to a into r. So 4, 3, 7, 4 is a and r is 1 by 3. So the second term you have got 1, 4, 5, 8. Now the third term is a2 into r. So therefore a3 is this 1, 4, 3, 8, 5, 8 into 1 by 3, which is 486. Then 486 into 1 by 3, that is 140, that is 162. So that number is 162. Yeah. And then 162 into 1 by 3, 54 is the fifth term. And 54 into 1 by 3r is equal to 18, that is the sixth term. So second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. These are the 5 terms between 4, 3, 7, 4 and 6. So that is how the numbers have to be added. That is 458, 1458, 486, 162, 54 and 18. Copy this. This is an important sum. This is a different type of sum where you have to use the first term, and in this case it was the 7th term which was known, and then find r, and after you find r you can find each succeeding term by multiplying the preceding term with r. Yeah, now you are given a GP 5, 10, 20 and asked which term is 2560. This is a very simple sum. Sums like this are generally asked in the board. Very lengthy sums like 4 terms, product is this, and then factorization, quadratic, all that has not been asked in the board till now. But these sort of sums which are very simple, which term is this, and so find the sum of all the terms. Of course, I haven't come to that part, that would be the next part when we find sum of all the terms in GP. So now in this case, first term is a, that is 5. And second upon first term is 10 upon 5, that is 2. So that gives you r is 2. So nth term formula is a r raised to n minus 1. You know the nth term is 2560, that is a 5, r is 2 raised to n minus 1. So 5 goes on the denominator and you get 5 on 2, a raised to n minus 1. You can divide, keep dividing, because this is 2 raised to something. You have to write this also in terms of 2 and write this as 2 raised to something. See, only when the bases are same you can compare the indices. So 2 raised to what if you have to write? So this, when you divide it, you will get 2 raised to 9. You know 16 is 2 raised to 4, and then I have shrink. This is 2 raised to 5, 2 raised to 6, 2 raised to 7, 2 raised to 8, 2 raised to 9. So 2 raised to 9 is 5 on 2. 2 raised to n minus 1. So 9 is n minus 1 or n is equal to 10. So the 10th term of this GP will be 2560. So this is how you do such a sum. Yes, now the next sum is also similar to this, very similar to this. In this case you have GP is first term is 1, second term is minus 1 by 3. So r is second term upon first term. So it will be minus 1 by 3 upon 1, which is minus 1 by 3. A is already 1. So again the same way, an is a r raised to n minus 1. Nth term is 1 upon 729. A is 1 minus 1 by 3 raised to n minus 1. So 729 is 1 by 3 raised to 6. There is an even number. So even instead of 1 by 3 raised to 6, if you write minus 1 by 3 raised to 6 also, you will get 1 by 729, because negative number raised to an even number will always remain positive. So that doesn't make a difference, that would keep it the same. So 1 by minus 3 raised to 6 is minus 1 by 3 raised to n minus 1. Both the bases are same, that is minus 1 by 3. So comparing the indices, you get 6 is n minus 1. N minus 1 is 6 or n is equal to 7. So n is 7, so the seventh term is 1 upon 729. The seventh term of the GP will be 1 upon 729. So this is how you do sums. Where the nth term is given, you first find A, then you find R, and after that make the bases equal so that you can compare the indices. In both these cases you have compared the indices and then found what is the value of n. So that will be the term, that term of the GP. Copy it down in your notebooks. 16th and 17th sum are quite similar. In both these sums you are given a general formula. En is equal to 4 raised to 4 into 3 raised to n minus 1. So this is a general formula given in the 16th sum, and you are asked to show that this is a GP, and after you show it's a GP, they have asked you to find the common term of the GP and the first term. So in this case, in the 16th sum, they have asked you to find the first term and the common ratio. Only A and R is asked. So in this case, I find A1, A2, A3, A4. I will find minimum 3. 3 terms I will find by substituting n is 1, n is 2, n is 3 at all the places wherever n is there in the given equation. So A1, that is the first term, will be A raised to 1 minus 1. So it is A raised to 3 raised to 0. Any number raised to 0 is 1. So A1 is 4. That's the first term. Then A2, I will substitute n is 2. So A2 will be 4, 3 squared minus 1. So it is 3 raised to 1. So 12. So A2 is 12. That's the second term. Now A3 I have to substitute n is 3. When I substitute n is 3, this becomes 3 raised to 2, which is 9. 9 into 4 is 36. So A3 is 36. That is the third term. So now you have first term, second term, third term. First you need to prove it's a GP. So third term upon second term should be equal to second term upon first term. Only then it will have a common ratio R. That is, it will be in GP. So 36 upon 12, that is 3, is same as 12 upon 4, which is also 3. So second upon first is giving 3. Third upon second is also giving 3. So from 1 into R is 3, that's the common ratio. And A, which you had already found, that is the first term, is 4. Same way, another sum in which An is given as minus 3 raised to n, 2 raised to n minus 1. So we substitute n is 1, 2, 3. N with A is equal to n, with n is equal to 1, we are getting minus 3. So the first term A is minus 3. With n is equal to 2, when you substitute n is equal to 2, you are getting 9 by 2. So that's the second term. With n is equal to 3, when you substitute n is equal to 3, you are getting A3 is minus 27 by 4. So from this, you can figure out that third term upon second term. When you do minus 27 upon 4 upon 9 by 2. So into 2 by 9 it will become, instead of upon, it will become multiply with the reciprocal. So therefore it will become minus 3 by 2. Then again A2 upon A1. This also when you do it, you get minus 3 by 2. So we have just found the common ratio. Because these two are same, therefore I will call them equation 1 and 2. So the common ratio is minus 3 by 2 and A, that is the first term, is minus 3. But I have to do further in this sum. I have to find the first 3 terms. I have to write it down. Of course, you have already found the first 3 terms. That is minus 3, 9 by 2 and minus 27 by 7. So next step I will write that down before proceeding to the next sum, that is the 18 sum we are not doing because it's too lengthy and such sums are not asked. So 18 sum you can omit. You can cancel it in your textbook, Anish tutorial textbook itself. You need not do the 18 sum, and just like the 18 sum in the homework you have the 9 sum on page 225. So 18 sum of classwork and 9 sum of homework are identical, that you can omit. That is not going to be asked in your board, that is too lengthy and that won't be there. So that in the school exams also they don't ask such sums. So you can cancel that from the book. So we finish the 17th and then we'll go to the 19th. So here we have r is minus 3 by 2. Therefore, the given expression r is 3 by 2. So both we tried. That is, third term upon second term is also minus 3 by 2. And second term upon first term also we had got minus 3 by 2. So therefore, it's a GP. And the three terms in GP are minus 3, 9 by 2 and minus 27 by 4 from our solution. A1, A2, A3. So now as I told you, 18 and sum number 18 of classwork and sum number 9 of homework of GP, this exercise 1, page 224 and 225, please omit them. These two sums you can omit. 19 sum important, it was asked in a board question. You were given 4th term is 16 and 7th term is 128, so it's a very simple sum. As you can see it, it's not very lengthy. An is a raised to a r raised to n minus 1. So here a4 is a r cube, that is 16. So already given it is 16. And a7 is equal to a r raised to 6, which is 128. So these two are given. So if you do equation 2 divided by equation 1, it will be 128 upon 16. So a and a will get cut. So r raised to 6 upon r raised to 3 is r raised to 3. You are using indices. A raised to m upon a raised to n is a raised to m minus n. So from that you are getting this is 8. R raised to 3 is 8. R raised to 3 is 2 cube. 8 is 2 cube. So r is 2 because the indices are same. Therefore the bases would be equal. Substituting r is equal to 2 in the simpler equation. Instead of taking r raised to 6, it is easier to go with the one which has lesser power of index. So a r cube is 16. 8, 2 cube is 16, 2 cube is 8. So a is equal to 2. You are asked to find a and r. So the first term is a, that is 2. And the common ratio is r, in this case that is also 2. So that's the answer. We will go on to the second exercise, but before that we will write the formula how to find sum of n terms of a GP. Please note infinite GP. That means dot dot dot, the terms go on and on. That is not there in the syllabus. There are few sums of that, we will cancel that out, that is not there, it's clearly mentioned. So we will only do finite GP, sum of n terms of a finite GP. So that we will do and we will write the formula. So now we will start with sum of n terms in a finite GP. Now see, in my book I have given you some questions of infinite GP, but that is not there, it is removed from the syllabus. So for you, you don't have to learn that, so you can cancel these sums. Page 226, classwork, question 4, 1 and 2. Page 227, classwork, question 5, 1, 2, 3. Page 227, classwork, question 7, 1 and 2. These three sums from classwork. And from homework, page 228, cancel question 4, 1 and 2 and question 6. These are not there in the syllabus, so you can leave it. Infinite or unending GP is not there, so cancel all these sums. So we will see the formula for the finite GP, sum of n terms. If a is the first term and r is the common ratio, then sum of n terms, you have three different cases depending on the value of r. If r is equal to 1, that means the first term is a, second term is a, third term is a, fourth term is a, all the terms are A itself. So that's also a GP where R is 1. You have a common ratio. Second upon first is equal to third upon second is equal to fourth upon third. They are all 1. So when R is 1, A plus A plus A plus A plus A n times is n times A. So if R is 1, the sum of all the terms in the GP is n times A. Now if R is less than 1, means half, 1 by 3, 4 by 5, if R is like that numbers. If R is less than 1, then you will use this formula. You will write sum of n terms Sn is A 1 minus R raised to n bracket upon 1 minus R. And this is because the denominator now 1 minus R will remain, it won't go less than 0. It will be more than 0. So we have written it 1 minus R because 1 is greater than R or R is less than 1. Now case 3 is when R is greater than 1. If R is greater than 1, the denominator and this part reverses. The rest of the formula is the same. Sn is A bracket R raised to n minus 1 upon R minus 1. So this is how you find sum of n terms, and infinite GP is not there in syllabus. So this formula you write down and cancel these sums from your textbook. We will now start with the sums on page 226. You are given the first 3 terms of the GP and you are asked to find the first 5 terms sum, the sum of the 5 terms. So in such case we will use sum of n terms formula. A is 3, R is 6 by 3, that is 2. So R is greater than 1. So since R is greater than 1, we will use the formula for R greater than 1. Sn is A R raised to n minus 1 upon R minus 1. Now your n is 5 because you have to take the sum of 5 terms. So S5 is A, which is 3, R is 2, raised to n is 5, minus 1, R minus 1 is 2 minus 1. So 32 minus 1 upon 1. So sum of 5 terms is 93. That is the sum of 5 terms. That is one of the answers. You are also asked to write a general expression for sum of n terms for this particular GP. So that means in your general expression, that is this expression, you substitute the value of A as 3 and R as 2, leave n as n, that will give you general expression. So 3, 2 raised to n minus 1 upon R is 2 minus 1. So denominator is 1. So your general formula for this particular GP, this is not a formula for all GPs. Huh? This is not a formula, this is an expression for the general term for this particular GP. That is sum of n terms for this GP. You can write it as 3 2 raised to n minus 1. So that is S of n. Now second question, you have GPA is 1 minus half. When you are given the sum, that means they are asking you to find the sum, and they have asked you to find the sum for 8 terms. So the first term is 1, second term is minus half, third term is 1 by 4, fourth term is minus 1 by 8, and so on. So now we have to find the sum of n terms. So first of all, A is 1 and R second term upon first term is minus half. So this number is less than 1. So R is less than 1. So therefore you use the other formula. Here it was greater than 1. So this formula and this formula is slightly different. You had written the formula for 3 cases. So S of n is A 1 minus R raised to n in this case upon 1 minus R. So S8, sum of 8 terms is 1 minus half raised to n upon 1 minus half. So when you do this, you get 1 minus of raised to even number becomes plus. So that is why this number became 1 upon 256. But this minus outside the bracket remains. So that is why it is 1 minus of 1 by 256. So that when you take the LCM, the numerator will become 255, denominator is 256. This, instead of doing the division, you can multiply with the reciprocal of the denominator. So it gets multiplied by 2 by 3. So 255 upon 256 into 2 upon 3 is 85 upon 128. So this is the correct answer. Please make a note in Anish's book. This second sum's answer was given wrong. So it was incorrect there. So make the correction in your Anish book also. The answer for the second sum is 85 upon 128. Make that correction in the textbook also. We go on to the next sum. Question 3. 3 terms are given and the sum of all the terms is given as 55 by 72. And you are asked how many terms will be there such that the sum is 55 by 72. Now that we need to find by using sum of n terms formula. But first, before writing what formula to use, you know that A is 2 by 9 and R will be second term upon first term. So minus 1 by 3 upon 2 by 9, that is minus 3 by 2. So this is the common ratio. Minus 3 by 2 means minus 1.5, that is less than 1. So since R is less than 1, you will use the Sn is equal to A 1 minus R raised to n upon 1 minus R formula. So first you have to see whether R is less than 1, equal to 1 or greater than 1, and accordingly use this formula. So now you know what is the sum of n terms, but you don't know how many terms. N is what number that you don't know. So that we need to find. So 55 by 72, A is 2 by 9, bracket 1 minus 3 by 2 raised to n upon 1 minus 3 by 2. So here minus minus will become plus. So it will be, after taking the LCM, 5 by 2. The numerator I haven't done anything, I have left it that way. Here I can't add the 2 because I don't know whether n is odd or even. If n was odd, then this minus sign would remain and this would have become plus. If n is even, then this would become plus. When any negative number is raised to even number, it becomes positive and therefore the minus sign would remain. So because it is n there, I can't remove this minus sign. So that remains. So now I can cross multiply 55 by 72 into 5 by 2, and this 2 by 9 goes to the denominator of this side. So 2 by 9, instead of writing it as the denominator, I can take the reciprocal and do multiplication. I will write it as multiply by 9 by 2. So 9 8s are 72. So this becomes 32 and the numerator is 275. So now this is 1 minus, instead of 1.3 by 2, you can write it as minus half or 1.5 raised to n. So now this number I have shifted this side to make this positive. So this number becomes positive. This remains as it is because we don't know n is positive or whether it's odd or even. Then 1 and this goes on the other side. So it becomes minus 275 by 32. So 32 minus 275 upon 32 or minus 243 by 32. 243 is 3 raised to 5. Because minus sign is there, so it is minus 3 by 2 raised to 5. This side is minus 3 by 2 raised to n. Bases are same, minus 3 by 2. So indices have to be equal, so n is 5. So actually the sum of 5 terms, 2 more terms should be there. The sum of all those 5 terms will be 55 by 72. So your answer is how many terms? So n is 5. That is the final answer. This was the third sum. Fourth sum is not there. Even the fifth sum is fully cancelled. And seventh sum. So now we will do the sixth and then the eighth sum. So now in these sums, in sixth sum, two parts, both the parts, they have asked you to, in the first part they have asked you to put two terms between 2 and 16, says that all of them are in GP. Geometric mean means the numbers all should be in GP or geometric progression. So 2 is A is 2, and the fourth term is 16, let the two terms in between be A2 and A3. So A2, so you have fourth term is AR raised to n minus 1, so it is AR raised to 3, so that is 16. A you already know it's 2, so R cube is 8, but 2 cube is 8, so you will get R is 2, because R cube is 2 cube, so R is 2. So if R is 2, first term is 2, so A2 is A into R, so 2 into 2, 4. A3 will be A2 into R, so it is 4 into 2, 8. So these are the two numbers you should put in GP in between 2 and 16, so that all the four of them are in GP. Now same way there they are asked you in the second part to put three numbers in between 1 by 3 and 432. So here the fifth term is 432. So the three numbers, let it be A2, A3 and A4. So A2, A3 and A4 are the three terms in GP. So A is 1 by 3, fifth term is 432. So therefore fifth term is AR raised to 4, which is 432. So 1 by 3, A is 1 by 3, R raised to 4 is 432, or R raised to 4 is 1296. When you cross multiply, it becomes 1296. Now 1296 is 6 raised to 4. So 6 raised to 4, 6 6 are 36, 216 and 1296. So that means R raised to 4 is 6 raised to 4, indices equal. So bases have to be equal, so R is equal to 6. So since R is 6, you already know A is 1 by 3. So A2 will be A into R, so it is 1 by 3 into 6, which is 2. A3 will be A2 into R, so it will be 2 into 6, that is 12. A4 will be A3 into R, so it will be 12 into 6, that is 72. In this case, you were asked to put three terms between 1 by 3 and 432. So the three terms you have to put is 2, 12 and 72. In GP, there is not much variation of sums. You will be given asked to find what is AR and sum of n terms. That's it. They won't ask anything complex or complicated in this chapter. So we continue with the next sum, that would be, you don't have the seventh sum, that is cancelled. It's an infinite. So we will directly go to the eighth sum. Mark the eighth sum as important because it's a simple sum and it's a different type in which you are given the GP 1, 3, 9, 27, etc. up to n terms. And the sum of all the n terms is 1093. So now you are asked how many terms are there, such that the sum is 1093. First is A is 1 and R is 3 upon 1, that is 3. R is greater than 1. So therefore we use the R greater than 1 formula. Sn is A R raised to n minus 1 upon R minus 1. So 1093 is 1, 3 raised to n minus 1, 3, R is 3 and n is taken as n itself, 1 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2, I have cross multiplied, so it becomes 2186. And that minus 1 I have taken to this side, so it becomes plus 1. So it becomes 2187 is 3 raised to n. Now 3 raised to how much is 2187? To find it, do the division method. So you can divide and you will get that 3 raised to 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 raised to 7 is 2187. The division is shown here. So that means since the bases are equal, you can directly compare the indices and say that n is 7. So this sort of easy sum only comes. The next sum, it's having some bit of calculation. So like this sums don't come even though the method is the same. In the next sum you are given root 2, then 2, 2 root 2, 4 and so on up to n terms. And you are given the sum is 30 plus 31 root 2. So in this particular sum you have to find n. A is the first term, that is root 2. R is second upon first. 2 upon root 2 is root 2. Because you can write 2 is root 2 into root 2. So 1 root 2 get cancelled. So it is left with root 2. So now root 2's value is 1.414. You know that and you should be aware of that. So this root 2 is greater than 1. So we are using r greater than 1 formula. A r raised to n minus 1 upon r minus 1. So your sum of n terms, you write this, root 2 is a, root 2 raised to n minus 1 and denominator r is root 2 upon 1 minus 1. So now what you are doing is this, you are cross multiplying and this you brought to the denominator. Now here you have some amount of simplification that you have to do. So that is why I told that such sums with a lot of simplifications won't be asked in the boards. So now when you open the bracket, root 2 has to be multiplied with both the terms. So first term becomes 30 root 2 and second term becomes 31 root 2 into root 2 is 2. So it becomes 31 into 2, that is 62. And the last, then minus 1 has to be multiplied with both. So you are left with minus 1 when you multiply with both, minus 30 and minus 31 root 2. So you have to multiply 30 with both and then 31 with both. So now these two numbers are root 2 terms, so that I have written together. When you add it, it becomes minus 1 root 2. And this, when you add it, it becomes minus 30 plus 62, which is plus 32 upon root 2 in the denominator. So now to make it in that form, I have to take a root 2 common in the numerator. So the first term will become 16 root 2. Because when you multiply it, it becomes 16 into 2, that is 32. And since root 2 is already gone down out, therefore the second term becomes minus 1. So now this is outside the bracket, so we can cancel the root 2. So 16 root 2 minus 1 is root 2 raised to n minus 1. Minus 1 gets cut on both sides. So the 16 can be written as root 2 raised to 8. Root 2 raised to 8 and one more root 2 is left here. So it becomes root 2 raised to 9 is root 2 raised to n. So n is equal to 9. So this sum n is 9, but usually in such sums you don't get all these complex calculations, you get sums with calculations like this. That is why I told you mark 8th sum as important. But to learn this sum, there is only that you have to take root 2 common out. So it is not there, it is not there in syllabus, it is there in the syllabus. This is important. We go on to the next. So now in the 10th sum, you are given the terms in GP and you are asked to find the number of, first you have to find the number of terms if you have to find the sum of all the terms. Because we don't know how many terms are there in between. So first thing is to find the number of terms. A is 256, R is second upon first, that is 1 by 2. So R is half, so R is less than 1. So since R is half, that is less than 1, we use the less than 1 formula for finding sum of n terms. But first we have to see what is the nth term, what is n. An is ar raised to n minus 1, which is 1 by 8. So a is 256, 1 by 2 raised to n minus 1, that is 1 by 8. So 1 by 2 raised to n minus 1, you get the 256 down there. So this is 2 raised to 3 and this is 2 raised to 8. So this becomes 2 raised to 11. So now the bases are same, 1 by 2 on both sides, and n minus 1 is equal to 11. So when bases are equal, you can compare the indices. So therefore n will be equal to 12. So you get n is 12. So sum of all the n terms where r is less than 1, you use the less than 1 formula, and a is 256, 1 minus r is half, and n is 12. So this, when you simplify, 2 raised to 10 is 1024. So 2 raised to 12 is 1024 into 4, that is 4098. So this you take the LCM, 40996, not 98. 4096 minus 1 upon 4096. So this becomes 4095 upon 4096. This 2 goes to the numerator. So this 512 goes exactly 8 times with that. So your sum of n terms is 4095 upon 8. There is no decimal here. It is 4095 upon 8. So this we have done the normal division, and the answer is 511.87. You leave it at 2 decimals. So the sum of all the 12 terms, when you add up, it is 511.87. So copy this down. We will go on to the 11th sum. The 9th sum of the classwork you leave, because that has too many complex calculations. Such things are not asked in any school exam or board exam, and even I won't ask those for my exam. So now question 11. Question 11 is a word problem, but it's a simple sum. One person comes to the shop. He is offered a scheme that if you bring 4 people, then for if each person spends something, then you will get 10 rupees. So the question is, a shop starts a scheme to attract customers that each person gets a free gift when he brings 4 of his friends to the shop, and each one pays rupees 10 to the shop. So very attractive scheme. You just have to pay 10 rupees, you will get some free gift. Each of the 4 friends, when they bring 4 more friends each, who pay 10 rupees each, will receive a free gift. So the chain continues. And when the 8th set of 4 people come, how much did the shopkeeper collect? You will find it's a phenomenal number. First person comes, he is not paid anything. He is just told, the shopkeeper has probably just started the scheme. So he is told that you get 4 people, and if each of those 4 people pay 10 rupees, then you will get a gift. So this guy goes and gets 4 people. This, all 4 of them paid 10 rupees each. Shopkeeper got 40 rupees. Remember, first person has not paid anything. He is the one with which the scheme started. He will get a free gift, and actually for him, it will be a totally free gift because he has not paid anything to the shopkeeper. So now all the others who are coming, these 4 of them, each of them paid 10 rupees. So total shopkeeper collected 40 rupees. Now this one person gets 4 people. So he gets 40 rupees more. This one person gets 4 people. So 40 rupees more. This person gets 4. So 40 rupees more. This also gets 4, so 40. So 4 times 40. Each of them got 4. So 160. So your A is 40, your A2, that is the second term of the GP, this is a geometric progression. The second term of the GP is 160. So therefore, R, second term upon first term is 4, R is greater than 1. So main thing is only this much, to find what is A and the second term. After that the sum is very easy. So first person, he didn't pay the shopkeeper anything. These 4 guys paid 10 rupees each to 40. Now this fellow is getting 4 people who paid 40. So 40 into 4, 160. That's the second term. So you have found R which is greater than 1. So they are telling when this 8th set of such customers, Now this guy will get 160, this is 160, this 160, this 160. So the chain becomes bigger and bigger, huge number of customers. So when the 8th set, n is 8, how much money did the shopkeeper collect from that? 10 rupees per person. So 10 rupees per person, the 8th set of numbers, you are using r greater than 1 formula. So from that you will get a, which is 40, r is 4, n is 8, minus 1 upon r minus 1 is 4 minus 1. So 4 raised to 8 is as good as 4 into 4 raised to 4. So this is 16 raised to 4, which is 256 into 256, that is this number, minus 1. So 40 into 65535, because you have done minus 1. So 65535 upon 3 is 21845. When you multiply it and do the calculation, you get 8,73,800 rupees the shopkeeper has got. That is the total money earned by the shopkeeper. So that's the answer. 8,73,800. So just imagine, he has got 83,780 customers because each of them paid 10 rupees. So that's the total amount collected from all those people, 10 rupees each. So GP is a big progression. Write this down, last sum we will finish now. Yeah, now in the 12th sum, you are given that the person is going to pay his loan. His total loan is 3,27,600. He is going to pay that full loan in 12 installment, but it is not equal installment. The first installment, if it is x, the second will be double of that, 2x. The third will be double of the second, that is 4x. That way, he is going to pay in GP. So the first term is A, so second term is 2 times A, third term is 2 times A, that is 4 times A. So it's written here, double the first term, second term. Third term is double the second term, so 4A, and so on. So R, second term upon first term, 2A upon A is 2. Because every time you are multiplying the previous loan amount by 2. So sum of all the terms when R is greater than 1, that formula, and sum of all the terms is given 3,27,600, that is the total loan amount. A, which you don't know, R is 2 raised to 12 installments are there, so N is 12, minus 1 upon 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so this is multiplied by 1 and this is 4096 minus 1. So that is 4095, which goes on the denominator. On doing the division, first I divided by 5, then I got 65520 upon 819, then I divided it by 9. So when you divide it by 9, I got A is equal to 80 after the division. What is A? A is the amount paid in the first installment. So his first installment is only rupees 80. Then they have asked you what is his last, that is 12th installment. So you are asked the 12th term in GP. A12 is A, R raised to N minus 1. A is 80, which you just got. R is 2, which you had found. 12 minus 1 is 11. So 2 raised to 11 is 2048. Now 2 raised to 11 is what? 2 raised to 10 is 1024 into 2. So it is 2048 into 80. So this guy, in the last installment, he had to pay 1,63,840. That is the last installment. Now in GP homework, in the second exercise, first exercise you had done. So in the second exercise, you just have to do question 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8 and 9. The rest you can omit because these sort of sums are only asked in the boards. So you can confidently do just these 7 sums in the second exercise. And besides that, the first exercise we had done till question number 8. So you can do 10, 11 and 12 from the first exercise. So that also you can do, but you do these 7 sums, that is more than enough. That takes into care the other sums also. So with this, we have finished geometric progression. So copy this down and do those homework sums.